Hello and welcome to Just Ride Bikes. I'm David and this sensational looking bike is the number 22 Great Divide Disc. And it's one of the most interesting, fascinating and breathtaking bikes I've ever featured on the channel. Something very special indeed. It's a titanium bike, in case you hadn't guessed by now, with 3D printed details like the dropouts and even the stem. The stem is 3D printed and that's a first for me. I've never seen anything like that before. And just amazing details throughout, which I'll talk you through in this video. Lots of you, I'm sure, will be familiar with number 22, but if you're not, the company was founded back in 2012 by Mike Smith and Bryce Gracie, and their material of choice is titanium, but done to the highest possible level. A real display of the most fascinating craftsmanship I've ever seen. And I've been lucky to test quite a few titanium bikes over the years, but this one definitely stands out. They are a small company and the bikes are expensive, and as a result, the bikes are rare. I first saw them at Sea Otter 2 years ago, where the bikes really stood out amongst a sea of carbon fibre cookie cutter race bikes. And so to stand here with the bike next to me and having ridden the bike for the last few months, I count myself very, very lucky indeed. A very special moment to ride such a special bike. The company offers a range of models. The Great Divide Disc is their endurance, do everything, ride everywhere bike with space for up to 35mm wide tyres. You can option fender mounts if you want for that year-round versatility for riding in crappy conditions. These are 30mm wide tyres, by the way, on a wide rim, so more like a 31, 32, and a good match for the riding the bike is so good at. And the geometry is more endurance than race and quite similar to a Giant Defy Advance in the stack and reach. Not quite as high in a stack as an MV3 or Specialized Roubaix, but definitely more relaxed than a race bike like a Tarmac or Athos. And my riding does reflect that geometry. A really nice relaxed canter through the corners. The steering is not too fast or twitchy. The bike has a very calm presence when you're riding over roads, and it's silky smooth as well. The way the bike and the tyres and the wheels deal with crappy road surfaces, it's just wonderful. It's supple and plush and just looks after you in a way that carbon often doesn't. It's a perfect long distance century bike, a bike to ride all day over the horizon and see where it goes. And I love the look of the bike as well. The classic frame shape, that horizontal top tube and non-drop rear stays, the chunky oversized head tube, down tube, the big stout rear stays, and the way the 3D printed dropouts, despite that sort of rough texture, does blend into chainstays really nicely. And then we have full internal routing, and it's done really nicely with their own carbon fork, and on this bike their own 3D printed stem, which looks amazing. And the internal routing done better than other Thai bikes I've tested on the channel, like the Moots CRD in the past. So it looks elegant, it retains that beauty and simplicity and traditional looks of Thai. That's a big appeal of the material for people buying the bike, but yet it looks modern and not quite futuristic, but definitely looks contemporary as well. And the build quality of the frame is stunning, really first class. The wheels are some of the smallest and smoothest I've ever seen. I love details like the cutout on the fork, the polished head tube badge, and I like the polished logo on the top tube and a bit of raw tie there and brushed on the down tube. That contrast works really, really well. And the bike is pretty much perfect. The only thing I would change if I'm buying the bike, which I'm never going to be in a position to buy, would be a narrow handlebar and change the saddle. But if you are in a position to buy a number 22, you can choose a handlebar and a saddle you want and need. So not really complaints, just small niggles to point out. But as you might no doubt guess from the way the bike looks and all that attention to detail, it is definitely reassuringly expensive. You're looking at $6,000 for a frame set, and there are stock sizes to choose from. This is a 56cm. You can option custom geometry if you need it or want it, and there are loads of extra options like fenders or mudguards and different finishes, polished, brushed, and even Cerakote if you want colour as well. And you can choose a build as well. This bike has a ceramic red accent group set with Fast Sports carbon wheels and carbon spokes and an MV-AR handlebar, and the company's own seat post with an MV clamp in there. And the all-out weight for the bike with no pedals is 8 kilograms, which is pretty good for a metal bike and only about 1 kilo heavier than a Canyon Air Road with the same group set. So yeah, 1 kilo extra weight given the difference between carbon and metal is pretty impressive. So the bike looks amazing, but how does it ride? Well, let's go for a spin and find out. Wow, just wow, what a bike. It's sensational. It rides so nicely. Just what a machine, what a bike, what a masterclass. I'm blown away. I've been lucky to ride some very nice titanium bikes over the years. Expensive ones like Moots and cheaper ones at the other end. And I've always impressed. Something about Tide just rides supremely well over British roads. Just deal with the cracks and bumps in the road so nicely. As smooth as, maybe even smoother than good carbon bikes. Just wonderfully smooth. Plenty of stiffness as well for faster paced rides. They're not a springy, flexy noodle of a bike. It does respond very well when you stamp in the pedals. You're pushing out a few hundred watts. So very stiff, but also very smooth and composed. Just rides like a dream. It's quiet, it just floats on the road so nicely. It does ride as you would expect from the way it looks. I wouldn't say it rides any better than some of the best Thai bikes I've tried in the past, but it's definitely up there with the best I've tried. There's nothing I can really pick fault with the way it rides. And then the geometry and the fit on the bike is really nice too. They're going for a sort of endurance bike setup, quite similar to a Giant Defy Advanced or a 51 Seeker. So a higher stack and a shorter reach than a race bike like a Tarmac, but not as laid back as a Roubaix or an MP3. Over the last few weeks, I found a fit and a smooth ride, a comfort, to be a great companion for big rides, all-day rides, 100-mile centuries. I'm training for Badlands in a few weeks, and this bike has been perfect for getting the miles in because it just looks after you so well. There's less pressure in your shoulders and back. You're not in that low hunched airy position, and the frame just floats over the worst roads and even light gravel and dirt if you want as well, and it just makes riding all day a really enjoyable experience, more than it would be on a race bike. Well, you can't ride 100 miles on a race bike, but I'd rather choose a bike like this for 100 miles because I know I'll feel fresher at the end. I'll still be broken, but I won't be as broken. And then it looks amazing outside the cafe as well. So yeah, lots of like. But that comfort doesn't come with a lack of stiffness, because if you join a fast-paced group ride or you're doing some intervals on the climb and dumping a load of watts into the pedals, the frame has plenty of stiffness, it's taut, it transfers power very well, and it is very eager and very responsive when you are riding flat out fast. Doesn't have the weight and outright stiffness of a race bike, but it's not trying to be a race bike. But it definitely, what I'm saying is it won't hold you back. It's designed for those of us who want that silky smooth, comfort focus bike for riding all day, doing big rides, big adventures, a few cafe and pub stops along the way. Well, this bike would definitely look amazing outside, and in my time with the bike, it's definitely garnered more attention and more interest than any carbon bike I've ever had. Really stands out, really draws a crowd. But will I buy it? Well, not now, I can't afford to, but maybe one day, yes. It's definitely a dream bike, a lottery winning bike, a retirement present to yourself. And one of these days I will, as I get older, I will own a titanium bike. And this could definitely be on my shortlist. Add some mudguards and I'll be quite happy. I ride through the winter, ride it in the summer. I have really enjoyed my time on the bike. It's been a wonderful experience to ride it and then live with the bike and just enjoy such a display of workmanship and attention to detail. And that's something I really like in a bike. It may not add to the performance and ride quality, but as a product, as somebody who appreciates design, as a designer in a previous life, the bike really speaks to me. The number 22 Great Divide disc isn't just another titanium bike, it's a showcase of craftsmanship, design and passion. But what really sets it apart is the detail, the flawless welds, the 3D printed parts and the finish that makes it feel like rolling art. Sure, it's expensive, but bikes like this aren't about value for money. They're about owning something truly special. A bike for life, built by people who care as much about riding as you do.